You guys ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Grace?
Go. Yeah.
Which one is it?
I like that.
It's not that one. This is not going to...
I can do it for
When
you.
have I
if you
ever like this?
Wah, wah, wah.
That's it.
Was that you?
Welcome to Bungalow 605, the New Croc Park. Welcome to Brooklyn, y'all. Welcome to Brooklyn. Big ups to Brooklyn. Welcome to the Black Bear. Welcome to the Den. Welcome to the Snug. Doug Reiser.
Snug it out. What's up? Doug Reiser coming at you.
Grace Hartman.
Hello.
Ashley Mae King.
Oh, hello, everybody.
I'm Rosie, and we are the JuJuBeez.
Yes, we are.
Juju.
On the Stick, a 1996 film written and directed by Julian Schnabel, Basquiat.
This film is based on the life of American postmodernist and neo-expressionist artist Jean-Michel Basquiat and his rise to fame in the art scene of New York City.
Just to highlight how fast he rose to fame, in 1981, he sold his first ever official painting to Debbie Harry, aka lead singer of Blondie. But 36 years later, he actually sold his painting Untitled for $110.5 million. Wow. And as of 2020, it's actually still on the list of top 50 most expensive paintings ever bought.
Wow.
Brilliant.
36 years later.
Amazing.
Brilliant artist, and
Went from famous to infamous, really.
True.
True.
Very fast. Very fast.
so this film, I got to tell you, we were talking just moments ago before we started recording, sort of separating the person in the film and maybe doing a little bit of separating with this project. But there's no doubt that first of all, this is a movie made by a painter about a painter, and this was a true independent film. I realize it's a Miramax film, but Miramax didn't make this. Miramax bought this. This was made for $3 million and change. Started off with a Polish filmmaker who wanted to make this story, and he called on Schnabel to help him out. So he was sort of helping produce, and came to the realization that he needed to make this movie. And in his own words, not my words, his words, he said this could not be made by a tourist. This is Schnabel is a contemporary of Basquiat. He's 10 years older. They're making art at the same time. They're hanging out in the same circles at some point. But clearly Schnabel had the interest in making sure that this unique artist got the film that he deserved. So when you look at the film on paper, you think, well, it doesn't look like an independent film. You've got Gary Oldman and Dennis Hopper and is Hopper in this? I'm sorry. Chris Walken.
Willem Dafoe.
Jeffrey Wright. And then you look at the soundtrack. I mean, these aren't cheap tunes, right? You got Van Morrison and the Stones. And so you can see that the art world came together to make sure that this movie got made the right way. So whatever you think of it, if you've seen this film, if you've seen Basquiat, hang out with us here for the next 15 minutes or so. We're going to have a cool little discussion, play a little trivia. If you have not seen the movie, we're not going to spoil anything, but we are going to take a score. We're going to discuss it, and we'll try to make a good recommendation for you. But this is really, I don't think you have to wait to hear what I think. It's, in my opinion, quite a beautiful film. And I'm kind of interested in hearing what you guys have to say. Let's get started with Ashley Mae King. I'd like to hear what your response is about this movie.
Yeah.
And then we're going to play a little, AMK is the reigning trivia champ. She knocked it out of the park in the Twilight discussion. So
Twilight and art trivia are going to be very different.
The bar is high.
From queen to king very quickly.
there's a lot of different courses on the tour. You've got to do good when you can. So,
absolutely.
But no, really interested in hearing what you think. What'd you like? What'd you love? What not so much? Basquiat.
Yeah. So we were talking a little bit before. This is not a film that I think I would have come across organically. So I'm really glad that I got the opportunity to watch it and that you all introduced me to it, because I did. There was a lot that I liked. You touched briefly on the soundtrack, and I think that it had this really seamless marriage between the music that was playing and the mood of the scenes. It very much felt like a time capsule in that way, and I really like that. Straight into what I loved. God, what a cast. So first off, I could watch Benicio del Toro mumble his way through any role ever. He's always so good. He emotes so well while saying so much unintelligible stuff. Like, I adore it. And like, you can see how lost he gets in every role that he plays. So that was a fun little, when he showed up on screen, I was like, oh yay, I'm gonna love this.
I need a name for that style he has. The way he delivers a line, almost lackadaisically.
Yes.
It's this thing he does it in this film.
He's so casual and almost careless, and it's so impressive. I aspire to that like level of just ease, you know. Love Benicio. I also Jeffrey Wright, who I was watching like this film and I was like, God, I recognize this guy from somewhere, and did not realize that I'd seen him on Westworld as a older man, and like to see him in this and really see his God, he is giving such a vulnerable performance, and he is just emoting so well. And I watched a lot of interviews of Basquiat himself to kind of like compare and contrast, and he really, really nailed that, like very soft-spoken in a way, but choosing your words very carefully but being very cutting at the same time. He captured that so well. And yeah, I think the cast is really amazing. I loved the composition of a lot of the shots. It was shot much less like a film and more like an art composition. And I thought that was really interesting in some of the framing choices, the collage style effects. Like there are a few times where he's looking over the skyline of New York and there's that surfer for playing on like, kind of a retro television kind of vibe.
Well, and also maybe his desire to be in Hawaii.
Right, yeah. And that was really, wow, you just connected that for me. I was like, oh, this is a cool effect, but I don't understand why it's happening. I like that. And that was in a few different things. And my favorite moment that it really felt, very art housey, I guess, is like after he has that altercation at the gallery and everyone freezes in motion and he just like walks out kind of slowly. I was like, what a beautiful moment. And it really kind of, that stylistic choice really played into the mood of that moment, and I thought that was really interesting and a very interesting directorial choice. It also had a really interesting an interesting viewpoint on that class friction between wanting to join the upper crust and then being in that environment and the actual reality of that kind of facade, and watching him rise into it and almost be disappointed by it even a little bit. I think it handles class friction really artfully. And it's really good at increasing the anxiety of the watcher as we're watching him rise in fame and kind of lose a little bit of himself and get a little more unhinged as we're watching it. I found myself getting increasingly anxious because, I knew enough about the artist to know kind of where this was going. So into what I didn't like. And this is something that's received a fair amount of criticism that I read about as well. Schnabel's self-insert as Gary Oldman's character has received a little bit of criticism. I admittedly do not know enough about the personal relationship between him and Basquiat to really like speak on that. But it is it's an odd choice to focus on that storyline when I feel like something that was lacking. He has a conversation with Basquiat about his relationship with Andy Warhol and how he doesn't want to be overshadowed. He doesn't want to be viewed as just this like tag along to Andy Warhol. But then at the end of the film, it portrays Warhol's death. And then like there's maybe 15 minutes left before we just get a black screen that sums up the rest of Basquiat's life. And it's like he lived for a year and a half after that death, and they just sum it up on a black screen in one paragraph of text. So it's like, why have this speech about not wanting to be a footnote on Andy Warhol's career and then basically finish his story after the death of Warhol in the film. You know what I mean? Which, and I can't believe I did not mention this when I was talking about the cast, but Andy Warhol, played by David Bowie. Oh my God, he's doing so well. That was amazing.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
But yeah, to get back to that, I thought that was kind of a cheap choice, and I questioned that a little bit. I think some of the time that was spent with Schnabel inserting himself into the narrative could have been spent on actually exploring those final days of Basquiat's life. So yeah, that's kind of my take on it.
Raise your hand if you want to play like true or false trivia.
Let's do it.
raise
Let's do
your
the
hand.
true or false.
We don't
Let's
have
do
to.
true or
You
false.
audio
Let's take it
listeners, we're all raising our hands.
One for you and one for you.
All right.
Yeah. By the way, for our listeners on Spotify, we record in a little room of a bungalow that's affectionately referred to as the Snug. Warmy chestnut walls. If YouTube, you guys can see us, but for the folks that are just listening, you know, we are a podcast, but if you have a crew this good looking, you record it. And Doug is, you know, you make sure you capture Doug on video.
No, we got it. We got it going on. And see,
Let's do it. So
synchronicity right here. Look at this.
It's time for our segment. You Can't Handle the Truth. Doug Reiser will read 3 true or false questions to both Grace and Ashley Mae King. They both get 3, however many points they have.
on.
They're the winner now. Here's the thing.
It's on.
You
It's
cannot.
always
I
on.
created a rule today. You cannot tie Ashley and take the crown. You've got to beat her. So if it's the tie goes to the person holding the crown, which is you. So Grace, let's see what you got.
All right.
Pressure's on, Gracie.
Gotta put my art frame
Grace
in.
Dougie.
Let's get it on. Let's get it on. You can't handle the truth. Are you ready? You ready?
Yeah, who's first?
Am I ready?
Let me close my eyes. I think we're going to do Grace. Grace is going to go first. I think, Grace, you're up. The newbie, Grace Julian Schnabel,
Oh gosh.
also made a movie about Van Gogh. The film, At Eternity's Gate, was released in 2018. True or false?
Oh gosh. I'm gonna say false.
True!
Oh no, I had no idea.
You can't handle the truth, can you?
I cannot.
He did
And it was
make
played
it.
by, it was portrayed by Willem Dafoe.
You,
He played Van Gogh.
you butchered the true or false question, but yes, poor Grace had to weed through
So do
that.
I get like a half point?
How did I not
you get-
hear about this film at all?
All right,
Yes.
No, I had no
And Willem Dafoe plays Van Gogh.
Wild. Let's do
Yes.
that one next.
Just look at the
never-
look at the pictures. How I guess that's what
seen
Van
it.
Gogh.
I wanna check it
Interesting.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Zero.
I'm nervous.
Ashley, you
Oh,
are up.
God. I shouldn't tell you this, but I did go to art school, so
Did you really?
yes, everyone's gonna
What?
be so disappointed.
Was it ETSU? Was it?
Yet another weapon.
I think I remember that. All right. In the film Basquiat, David Bowie is wearing wigs actually worn by Andy Warhol himself. True or false?
That is true. I read about that. Yes. That was an easy one.
That was
That was an easy one. That
easy
seemed
one.
unfair.
Warhol provided these wigs to Schnabel. Good job.
Number 3.
Excellent.
Okay, so
Actually,
Ashley's in the lead. 1-0.
think he
Round
rented them
One
from
nothing.
a
Second group
museum.
of questions.
This is round 2. You ready, Grace?
Let's see.
Basquiat once produced a rap record. True or false?
True.
That's right. He produced the
Grace
album
is on the board.
with Ramzelli and K-Rob titled Bebop in 1983. He designed the color for the single.
If you lived in New York and you were at all in the art scene, you were probably making some video
Right.
album.
Something,
Which
graffiti
that
art,
noise
combination.
scene, like that noise music scene portrayal, was so fun in the film too. I feel like that doesn't get its
The one-
due.
Come
when
on,
they're-
Fab Five, Freddy, remember him? And what's her name?
Grandmaster Flash and Grandmaster Flash in the soundtrack.
Astor got involved too, hence the Astor Gallery. I mean, there's a lot of really stuff going on.
Ashley's second question.
Right.
All right, Ashley, let's see what you got.
1-1.
Let's see what you got with the Basquiat. Basquiat's actual paintings are used in this film.
Like
True or false?
oh no. Surely false.
Yes!
Is it?
Right.
Okay.
I mean, could you imagine having a
No
$200 million
way.
painting of him? No. Excellent job. Answer is false.
As a matter of fact, the estate, which his father ran, refused to give Schnabel anything.
right.
So they,
Good on him.
Schnabel and his other artist friends made Basquiat paintings. So if you see the once you see in the
creative.
movie, he did.
Interesting.
Good job. All right.
So Ashley got that right. So, okay, round 3 here.
Round 3. Let's go.
You've got this.
I
Come
know
on.
nothing
You
about
got this. You got this. Basquiat's mother was a native New Yorker of Puerto Rican descent, and his father was Dominican. True or false? Puerto Rican, Dominican.
I want to say Haitian, so false.
Yes. You can handle it.
I was trying to tell you with my eyes.
Good work.
I was like,
Mom was Puerto Rican.
Grace came to play.
Father was Haitian. Great job.
Ashley, you can outright win. You have it by tie because you have to truly unseat the champion, but you can go ahead and win it outright.
Got that
right
trick
here.
question.
All right.
Round 3.
We
Very
won't
good.
see.
Very good. All right, here we go. Pressure's on now.
Okay.
Ashley King. Julian Schnabel and Basquiat were both born in Brooklyn. True or false?
True.
No. I cannot win this board.
Fake me out
know
with
what?
that Rosie.
Wall, yes, wall.
Ashley
yes.
gets all 3 correct.
Got it.
Wins without question,
you know
3
what?
to 2.
You needed to win that. You're the art major.
The winner
Right, it
and
would've been really
still
embarrassing, I
the
know.
trivia champion, Ashley May King.
Huzzah.
The
I feel like I've
king.
redeemed myself for knowing so much about
need a
clown.
AMK in the house is tearing it up week
All
to
right.
week.
Dougie, all right, you lived in New York. I've lived in New
Yeah.
York, but you grew up there. I mean, one of the things that I really liked about this film was just how if you spend any time down in the Village, Soho, the Bowery. I used to work in the Bowery. Jen Maplemoth used to come down there, and man, we'd kick it by the old CBGB. I mean, I know the feel down there, and this film really captures that. How did you identify with that?
Yeah, I mean, it really brought me back to the like 1988, the year he died, is the actual year I started going out into the city in clubs, and I was 16 going on 17. So I used to go to the Palladium and try to get into the Michael Todd room that he talks about in the movie.
Yeah.
Club called Area was another club, but that was when I first started getting into the club scene. But going to the Pop Shop, the Keith Haring store right there off of Houston and that whole area, the Bowery, like going to CBGB's, trying to get into that club and going in there and seeing the grit and just being around that whole scene.
This is
St. Mark's place.
for sure. This is a New York film. Let's take a score.
It was
What,
really
what,
awesome.
what do you give this, Dougie?
I got it. You know what? I want to put nostalgia aside, and it just really brought me back home in a lot of different ways. I'm gonna give it a 9 because I love independent films. I love the cast, the ensemble, and I just love so many things about it. And I actually got to meet Jeffrey Wright at this private party when I was working at Tribeca, and I could just sense his aura. Like you were saying, I mean, he's so incredibly talented, and he brings everything to his roles. And this was not too far around the time when he filmed this, so I'm going to give it a 9 for an indie. I love indie films.
Gracie,
so, yeah.
what do you like?
I like my rating.
Yeah.
I would say probably a 7 out of 10, only because, as Ashley was saying, I think that there was a lot more to be seen in the movie.
Yeah.
And I would have liked to have seen more of his life instead of a black screen saying
Yeah.
what happened.
Ashley, what do you give this?
I agree with that 7. I like it. I definitely think you should watch it, but also explore the life of the artist independently of this film. There's a lot left on the table.
So that's, let's see, 9 and 7, 16 and 7, 23, 33. 33, because I give it a 10. Just so you know, I give this a 10. To me, God, this is just the heart of an independent film, the New York. Just the directing of Julian Schnabel, the fact that this guy's a painter, but he can make a film like this.
Yeah.
The way that everybody came together to make this film. And to me, I always say, if I want to watch a film right when it's over and I want to watch it back, that lets you know that I'm, we still got a camera, we got both cameras. That lets you know that I love it. I could literally just watch this all the time.
Yeah.
The acting is so good. The guy who played Rene Ricard, these characters, Benicio del Toro, they make this movie what it is. But obviously, it was all hands on deck. They had the best of the best to
You've
make
seen
this
that
film.
some of the top independent New York actors.
A few
hands
other
down.
things. This film was shot in 32 days.
Wow.
I did not know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Wow.
32 days. Took about 6 years to finally come together and then 32 days to shoot it. But hey, no one wants to be a part of a generation that ignores another Van Gogh. So our score of 33, our cumulative score of 33 makes our recommendation, the JuJuBeez recommendation for the film Basquiat. We aren't saying see it tonight.
But see it very soon.
Very soon.
Very soon. Come on, you got to see it.
That's honestly the most in sync I think we've been.
No, that I don't think it was.
You got to see it. You really do.
Final thoughts on this. These are the type of movies that, this is about someone. This is about a black artist, and there aren't many of them. Go look up black painters. You're not going to find many black American painters. Basquiat was a unique talent, and this movie should send you to the next thing and to the next thing. And more than anything, you should learn about this artist, learn about neo-expressionism. Malcolm X did that for me. I saw the movie, and then suddenly my eyes were more open to who this man was. That's what films can do. That's the power of films. We mentioned some things that might have made this film take a hit, but for me, do yourself a favor and go see the film Basquiat.
He had a hard time with the press as well. He didn't like Page Six. He didn't like being followed. He had a really hard time dealing with that, especially as a black artist, black man in New York, and he had a really tough time dealing with a lot of that energy that we probably wouldn't know.
Thanks for coming, Dougie Reiser.
Thank you for having me.
Grace Hartman.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Welcome and thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Always.
Ashley May King.
Yes. All right, I'm going to give you guys some info, right?
Yeah.
So this film has a runtime of 1 hour, 50 minutes. This film is rated R for drug use, language, and some violent scenes, and you can watch it on YouTube, Google Play, Amazon Prime, and Apple TV.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Big ups to Brooklyn, Dougie, and Grace, and
out.
Ashley May King. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Thank
As
you for
always,
having me. Appreciate
JuJuBeez.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job.
I can't believe you didn't put the Beyonce and Jay-Z ad in the trivia.
Oh,
Have you not seen that?
Oh, where he's got the thing, the hair.
Well, no,
and shit.
Yes.
it's the first time his painting has been seen. The pie is in the Tiffany's
Tiffany's,
ad.
yeah.
It's the first time it's been seen publicly.
He raps about him too a lot. Jay-Z,
It's interesting.
he gives him props.
I was so prepared to answer Beyonce trivia, you guys.
Oh, you're the champ, nevertheless. Thanks, Jen.
You got it.
Good work, guys.